Hello everybody. I want to be able to teach you coding from top down. The idea is that he's trying to solve an issue, and that's how you learn coding. We're not going to teach you the basics of coding and then build it up into problem solving. We're first going to problem solve, and from that you'll hopefully learn how to code. So let's dig right into this. We have a spreadsheet here with some meeting times. These are events, basically a meeting and a party at this date at this time. So I want to get this into Outlook. You can do this manually, but I want to show you how to do this with VBA automatically. You can have a list of 2,000 different events, and you could just plot it on a calendar. So let me show you. If you click Alt F11, this is our already inserted a module. You click on this workbook, insert module. Okay, let's create a sub called create appointment. So there's a few ways of doing this, but we're going to do this the simplest way possible. So let's set, so in VBA, to create a variable, which is just basically a space to hold something, an object is created with the word set, versus values, you use the word, you set it with the equal sign without using the word set. So equals create object, Outlook. Basically, we're just creating an instance of Outlook. Simple as that. The next thing we have to do is create something called a namespace. This is really, it's basically a property of an Outlook instance. So Outlook dot get namespace. It's called Mappy. What this is exactly is a little bit beyond what I'm trying to do. So just have that line, keep it going. Then the next thing we have to do is we're going to find the folder. If you look in Outlook, it has a bunch of folders. It's hard to describe it without showing it to you. It has like an inbox folder, it has a sent folder. Those are all called things, look at folders. So calendar is considered a folder. So if we want to create this folder, it's a property of namespace. Get default folder. And we're using 9. If you look at documentation, you'll see 9 is the calendar default folder. Okay, let's get the last row. We want to get the last row of the spreadsheet we are currently working on. So we're going to do cells rows.count. That's basically just rows.count is just how many rows there are, count it. So that's going to give you the last row, first column, and we want to go end. We basically click in shift and up that row. So that will basically give us if you go from the bottom cell, click shift up, we can do this, I'll show you. If you go into Excel, well, that's not going to help us. If you go into Excel, let's see, just go here, 36, you click control and arrow up, hits row 3. So that's basically what we're doing. So that last row variable, you see without the word set key, is going to be 3. So now let's just loop it for I equals 2. 2 is basically we don't want to do the first row because it's the headers. To last. You don't have to capitalize it, I just do that. It's just one of the things I do. In VBA is not, capitalization makes no difference. Python, other languages, it matters. Here it makes absolutely no difference. So let's get the description is going to be equal to cells I. It's going to be, so every time we loop through all these rows, we want to do basically row 2 and row 3 in this case. So what's the description of the event? It's going to be in column A. So that's what we're doing. Basically, it's going to be in each row, in column 1 dot value. You don't have to put that value, that's the default property. The start date will be, it's going to be in column 4, that's basically, start date is the date and the time together, dot value. Again, I didn't mean to do that, I meant to do 4. Well, value, if you look back here, you will see that is this basically just the date and the time together. Okay, so we have those variables set. Now all we're going to do is set. We just create now a variable, an object that holds this new instance of an event, equals OLO folder. It's basically now dot items dot add. So we're basically just adding a new item. Now we just have to set all the properties to the thing we wanted. So mint width is just basically just using that keyword a bunch of times. Dot start equals start date. That's the dot subject equals description and dot save. And that should do it. So now if we step through it using F8, this creates the Outlook, gets the folder, the last row. If you want to see what the actual is, row 3. You see that? If you look on the bottom, you can see it here too. It's row 3. You can see if you look through the old folder, you can see here all the different, that's my email address, and you can see the folder path is calendar. You see that? That's exactly what it is. And an item of it is each actual items is all the different items, all the different events that are included inside that folder. Okay, next is the description. It's in that row. In this case, it's going to be row 2, so it's meeting and 10.1. It's going to add it and save it. Do one more time. The description this time is a party, which is row 3. The start time, and with next I, and that's the end of that. If you look in the actual thing, look at that. Boom, it's right there. 602, 702. Let me know if you have any questions below in the comments.